Hey friends, welcome back in. I'm so happy that you came back to check out my channel. You are in with Ask Nurse Kima. I am on sharing my wellness journey, my beauty journey, my story of being a stroke survivor while navigating through life as a single mom, registered nurse. So welcome back in, friends. So I want to thank you all for engaging and watching my previous video. If you are tuning in right now, you have not watched my previous video, I want you to go ahead and stop, go back and watch it, and then come back and check this video out. This channel is more than a health and wellness channel. We're talking about resilience, how to push forward through your struggles and obstacles in life as a single mom. So my story today is about how I survived having a stroke at the age of 39 years old. Yeah, friends, it's not what I signed up for, not what I expected. Just to give you some context, I'm going to give you a before picture of me at my highest weight, 330 pounds. And me at my current weight at 146 pounds. What I must say is I had no idea that I would be having a stroke. I had, in my mind at that time, no signs or symptoms that gave me any indication that I would be hospitalized and in the ICU. But friends, I want to walk you through what happened and what I did to survive this and to navigate through life after having a stroke. I was in my senior year of nursing school, friends. Yes. Wrapping up a accelerated program as a registered nurse, bachelor's trained nurse. And I was at home preparing for finals. I worked during the day and went to school at night. My senior year, of course, proposed some challenges because I needed to take some clinicals during the day and then maybe go without working my regular job as outlined during the Monday through Friday, my regular shift. That I had a stroke. I was working on a final exam and I was typing, just doing what I normally do. My daughter was in the other room. Friends, I was typing and then just out the blue, I thought I was typing a specific sentence or something in particular. And what I thought I was typing was not what was being reflected on the laptop. I said, wait a minute now. I've been typing very well for quite some time. I said, something is wrong here. I looked around. I tried it again to type another sentence. And it was just mumble jumbo across the screen. Okay. I reached out, called a friend of mine that was a medic in the military. And he's like, Kim, I think it's pretty serious. You need to maybe try to go in. I was like, I felt my heart racing. I was feeling irritated and anxious, but I just assumed it was because, hey, I'm getting ready to graduate in a few months. It's my senior year. It's finals. I'm on call for work. It's probably, nothing. Okay. So at that time, my daughter was probably about 5 or 6 years old. I called her in the room because she was playing around. I said, hey, baby girl, I need you to put on some clothes. We're going to go to the hospital. I think something is going on with mommy. It's feeling pretty serious. Me as a nursing student at the time, pulled out my blood pressure cuff, checked my blood pressure myself. Okay. Wrapped my arm around because I was feeling some weakness. Okay. On the right side. So I put on the blood pressure cuff, checked my blood pressure as best I could at the time, considering the circumstances. And I recall my blood pressure being 190 over 140 something. I said, oh, yeah, we got a problem. My speech at the time was not slurred, but I could tell I was experiencing some neurological changes. So packed my daughter up, grabbed my work phone, grabbed my personal phone, and loaded my daughter up in my truck. And we headed down to the hospital, which was probably about 5 or 6 minutes away. Went to the ER. Y'all, let me tell you something. I checked in the ER. I was so frustrated. My daughter was sitting on my lap And I'm like, you know what, parents, train your kids, use your phone, know the passwords to your phone, and know who to call if there is an emergency. So I had my daughter calling my mother back home in the South Georgia, on my work phone, okay, while I was talking on my personal phone to a close friend trying to tell someone what was going on. Okay, they got me situated, went through the consent to treat, and the nurse was saying, I don't know if I need to call stroke protocol or not because she doesn't seem to fit the criteria. But when I went to sign the consent to treat in the ER, I could not write my name. I couldn't sign my name. The nurse looked up at me. I said, this is not normal. Something is wrong. Even though I could speak, I was in my right mind. I said, I can't write my name. Something is wrong. It was not legible. So they called the stroke protocol, put me in a room in the ER, me and my daughter. And I was calling my mom, trying to tell her my blood pressure was up. She was telling me, try to relax. I said, Mom, I'm trying. I didn't even think I was upset or think that I was stressing. Friends, let me tell y'all something. In that moment, it's like a bell went off in my head, friends. And I felt like this ticking. I heard this ticking, tick, 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 tick. I looked over at my daughter and immediately I hit the call button on the bed in the ER. When the doctor came in, he said, what's wrong? I couldn't speak, y'all. Let me tell y'all, I could not speak, but I could see him. I could hear him, but I could not respond to him. All I could do was look at him. That's all I could do. And he said, oh, she's having a seizure. Indeed, I was. That much I did know. And I heard him call out what I call the cocktail with the Ativan and the Haldol. I said, okay, he understands what's happening. And in that moment, I just remember fading out. When I woke up, I was in my own room in the ICU. My daughter was there. I didn't know what happened. I didn't recall anything, friends. But the nurse told me that I had at that time maybe 7 or 8 seizures. They were trying to get an IV started. So I was so dehydrated, they had to call the PIC team in to do a PIC line. Okay. But because I'm a nursing student, I know to be calm. I know to be relaxed and don't worry the nursing staff that was trying to assist me. I knew that much. I knew my daughter was there watching. I didn't want her to be agitated and worried about me. Okay. I remember picking up the phone and calling my mentor at the time, who was also my boss. It was the executive director at the facility I worked at, who was also a nurse. Okay. She came over because my mom had not got there yet. She hadn't gotten there. And they asked me if I wanted to go in for an angiogram to try to remove the blood clot because they said, oh, you've had a stroke. Okay. I'm like, yep, go do what you got to do. Do all the things. Again, they asking me questions. Now, mind you, y'all, I was a director of business partnerships at that time, full time. And one of the hospitals that I did a lot of marketing at was a hospital that I was admitted in. So I was seeing nurses that were familiar with me. I was seeing care managers that were familiar with me and doctors that I was familiar with, seeing their names on clinical referrals that I was reviewing. And in comes one of my classmates that worked on the neuro floor. She said, Kima, you got the best doctor. He's going to take care of everything, but do what he says for you to do and listen because he's going to be straightforward. I looked at her. I said, Keisha, I will. I will. Because I felt reassured seeing one of my classmates from nursing school, okay, there. I was in a happy space at that time. They took me in, had the angiogram. They rolled me back out after the procedure and said, you know what, Kima, we couldn't remove the blood clot because it looks to be chronic. You know, if you're unfamiliar with chronic versus acute, chronic is an old condition. It's not a new condition. It's been around a long time. So which told me in my head, maybe I had a stroke before with a blood clot in my head and I had no knowledge of it, friends. So my mind is running. I'm spinning. They're trying to keep me calm and relaxed because, of course, they went through my leg to run the catheter up through my brain in order to do the angiogram. So me as a senior nursing student, there's many, many staff members, nurses, nurse practitioners, doctors all around the bed, and my mentor, who's also a registered nurse. And I hear on the left side of me, this nurse practitioner say to me, she'll never be a nurse. She'll never be able to pass the NCLEX because of this situation. I couldn't believe it. I was coherent. I heard her. I could not say anything, but I heard her. She said, oh, please tell me your name. And because I just came out of anesthesia, I don't do well under anesthesia under normal circumstances. So you talk about having a stroke and having somebody digging in your brain. Baby, I was not able to respond as quick as the nurse practitioner wanted me to respond. So my mentor, this registered nurse who retired from Grady, was there on the right side. And she said, hey, give her a minute. She just came out of surgery. She understands what you're saying, but give her a minute to respond. God, I'm thankful. They rolled me to the room. By this time, my mom comes in. I'm in the ICU. I don't even know where my daughter is at this time, friends. But again, I'm thankful. I have weakness in my right hand, can't write, and at this point, I can't speak. I could nod my head and I could respond to the appropriate question. So if you ask me a question, I could blink and I could shake my head to the left or the right or up and down. That's all I could do. I'm 39 years old. At that time, I think I was 180 pounds, 5'5" for context. I didn't see this coming. I'm trying to figure out what the problem is. So, of course, the doctors are running all these tests trying to figure out what is going on with this 39-year-old woman who appears to be healthy. It was not diabetes. Now, yes, my blood pressure was high as I entered the hospital. They ran all these tests, the genetic test, and I had no genetic markers for high blood pressure, diabetes, anything. But what he said was, you are extremely stressed because you work full time and you are a full-time nurse going through an accelerated program. Yeah, jackpot. You're right. I could not say anything. It was just tears running down my face. My mentor was there. My mother was there. My mother works in healthcare, retired from healthcare also. And I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Because all I could think about was, I'm getting ready to graduate from nursing school. What is going to happen? I need to go back to school. I need to finish my finals. I was not able to speak, but I could text. So I was able to text with my left hand to my classmates to say, hey, let the professors know X, Y, and Z. This is where I am. So I was in the ICU probably about 3 or 4 days before I was moved to the step-down unit. Let me tell you how good God is. In a matter of 3 days, I was able to regain strength in my right hand because I'm right hand dominant. I was not able to sign my name as clear as I was accustomed to, but it was legible. I was able to complete my menu for my meals because, mind you, I was still able to eat. I had no issues with swallowing. I just could not speak. And then when I tried to speak, my words were jumbled up. What I was thinking was not coming out my mouth. But I knew but God, because I knew in my spirit, I said, it's not my time. He has something else for me to do. Yes, he does. I was downsized from the ICU to the step-down unit. And the only reason I did not go from the step-down unit to a regular room is because the hospital was full. When my doctors and therapists came in to see me, they said I was a miracle. They could not believe that the person they saw on April the 20th, 2018, was who they saw April the 24th, 2018. There was two different people. Two different people, friends. Now, mind you, I'm a single mom, just been divorced, in nursing school, working full time. My priority is still thinking about my child. And what am I going to do? I need to get out of this hospital. My sister came up to care for me. My mother was there. I remember my uncle coming to see me, and remembering being discharged home. Y'all, I walked out that hospital. They wheeled me down because it's appropriate to, put your patient in the wheelchair to take them down to discharge. But I walked. I got up out of that wheelchair and walked to my truck that my sister was driving, got in it. The young man that was helping me, that was transporting me in the wheelchair, was the young man that was helping the nurse put in my PICC line. He said, "You are not the same person I saw a few nights ago." And I said, I know I'm not, but he is not through with me yet. God is not through with me yet. I got in the car. My sister took me home. And all I could think about was, what do I look like? I need to get my hair washed and my hair pressed. Okay? Still with a sense of humor. But I say all of that to say, listen to your body, friends. Listen. Pay attention to the signs and symptoms, because one thing that I know is that I had experienced headaches. I had been having headaches for about 2 weeks, but I just kind of chopped it off because I'm working. I'm going to school. You got a headache, you don't have a headache. But I was medicating myself and not at the time realizing that the medication was not resolving the headache, which should have. Bing, Kima, something is going on. But in the thick of things, I'm somebody's mother. I'm a student, and I'm a director over at this rehab center. I don't have time to be sick. I don't have time to slow down. I have to move. I did not have to have therapy. I did not go to an outpatient rehab center. I was able to be discharged home with no home health under the care of my sister. I was definitely on restriction for 6 months because I did have a seizure. I had 7, I think she said 7 or 8 seizures while in the hospital. So I was on restriction for 6 months with no driving. But I'm going to talk to you about some resilience. My sister had to go back home because my sister has a kid as well. So she had to leave earlier than what I expected while I was out on leave, because my sister was taking my daughter to school and taking me to my appointments. And I had to take my daughter to school when my sister had to return home. I got in my truck and I prayed because I was so nervous. I called my best friend on the phone. I said, I'm going to have to drive Kimora to school. I said, but I'm scared. I'm nervous because I haven't been driving. It's been months. I said, I just need you to stay on the phone with me. The school was about 1.5 miles from my apartment at the time. But I got my daughter to school. I was so nervous, so scared, because I didn't want anything to happen. I was so nervous. I began to experience anxiety, panic attacks. I dropped my daughter off, came back home, and I sat in my truck, I know, about 30 minutes, praying and thanking God for getting me to my daughter's school and back. Because at that point, who else was going to pick her up? Who else was going to help me at that time? When I say God is good, He is amazing. He is amazing. He brought me through all of that. And in that space, in that very moment, I said, God is not through with me yet. He has a purpose for me. He has something else for me to do. I pushed through that. Friends, I finished nursing school on time. I graduated with over a 3.0. I really felt like my GPA maybe was a 3.43, something along those lines. And that nurse practitioner, I never forgot her name or her face. And the floor that she worked on was the floor that I frequent as the director of business partnerships. I never went back to approach her. I never went back. The doctor told me, Dr. Horn said, you're going to be fine. He said, but you're going to have to rearrange how you manage your lifestyle because you are doing way too much. And at the time, I was. I didn't think that I was, but I was. But let me tell you what helped me accomplish that degree, because it was not just me alone. It was my support system. Those same staff members that I managed at that facility became my family. So when people see me on social media and I see students or women, men saying they're going to go back to school and they feel like they're too old to go back, no such thing. There's no such thing. I was in my 30s when I went back to school, and I was 40 years old when I graduated with my bachelor's of nursing degree. 40 years old. If I can do it, you can do it. There's never a moment where you should think, oh, I can't. It's too late. I'm too old. I have adult children. I have grandkids. No. When you set your mind to do something and you pray to your higher power, it can be done. You can accomplish those things. Do not fret. I am a living testimony of what you can do. I am. So I wanted to share with you all my journey. I wanted to share with you all what happened. I wanted to share with you all or give you some inspiration and some motivation to let you know that you too can accomplish all things. I'm 46 years old. My daughter is now 13 years old. And we're like this because we went through that together. She remembers some things, not everything, but she remembers enough to that when she sees me, when she comes in from school, she comes to check, how was your day, Mom? Is everything okay? Do you need anything? How are you feeling? So much so my daughter knows the medication that I must take. I'm talking about not the generic name. God, I thank you. What I have shared with you this evening is something that you can understand that resonates with you or someone that you know. I'm asking that you show love by commenting, liking, sharing this video, and definitely hitting the subscribe button and turn on that notifications. Turn on your notifications so that you can catch all of my videos when I post them. Because I'm here not just for me, but I'm here for you. I am here to do what God has asked me to do, and that's provide you with purpose, inspiration, understanding, and motivation. So I definitely thank you all for the support. I thank you all for the comments on my previous video. You are on with Ask Nurse Kima. And until the next time, bye.